Welcome to the Hudson Valley Disc Golf Podcast. We're joined by Randy, Jasan, Jaimen, Corey, Alex, and our guest this week has been a PDGA member since 2019 and already has 34 career wins, including 2 this year in the first Disc Cap Flex at CPS and the Queen City Gambit in Charlotte, North Carolina, which we recently learned is not the state where she went to college. She'll be hosting Fun in the Sun in July, which is a C tier for women at Stephen P. Wallace that's part of the new New York Women's Empire Series. It was also recently announced that she'll be taking over as commissioner of New York Team Challenge for next season. Thank you for joining us, Kaitlyn Clay.
Woo! Woohoo.
So how did you first discover disc golf?
Actually, Randy and Kat got me into disc golf. I played a little bit in college. There's a course near me. It was like
In Virginia, right?
in Virginia. It was a little kind of like a pitch and putty course, and I had like a buzz, and I played very, very casually. But then during COVID, we couldn't play Ultimate anymore, so Kat and Randy got me out playing disc golf, luckily, thanks to them.
You're welcome.
How did you know them?
I knew Kat and Randy from Ultimate. I mean, Randy's been long retired, but Kat played up until recently, and we played on a club team together.
Do you still play?
I still play. Yep. I'm back into playing. I'm definitely not as competitive as I used to be, getting old, but yeah, I'm still out there.
Who was better at Ultimate, you or Randy?
Randy's got the height, so.
Yeah, but doesn't that kind of hurt when you're trying to do like a outside in play, like around a defender, and someone's going long for the touchdown?
I think Randy and I probably are 2 very different players. Randy's like the big guy. He's cutting deep, except he wasn't.
I couldn't run to save my life. No, I just threw it the full length of the field because it was easier than running.
So maybe me.
How long were you playing disc golf before you joined PDGA?
So I played one tournament in 2019, which was the Warrior Princess that April used to put on at J Park. And I joined the PDGA because of that tournament. So like casually, I played a few years before just with my mid-range, but I joined the PDGA really before I even started playing, probably.
Do you still have that buzz? Are you still using it?
I do have the buzz. Oh, I can't use it anymore, but yes, I do still have it.
Why did your dog bite a hole in it?
No, I can only throw Trilogy.
Oh, I'm
Could
sorry.
you elaborate on that? Why can you only throw Trilogy, Kate?
Because I'm sponsored by Latitude.
Wait, isn't that the same team that like Kristen Tatar is on?
Oh, yeah. She's my teammate.
You guys have Zoom chats? Like what the team is doing this week?
I wish, but we have a very inactive team Facebook page.
Are you going to take that over too? You just spice that up a little bit?
Corey, you have a question prepared for 3 discs?
No, I wait till I'm going to call the pond for me to make up some shit. Is that the time? Is the time right now?
That sounded like it.
It'd be a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Segue.
Go for it.
All right, Kaitlyn. So you're getting ready. You, Randy, Kat Bemis, a couple of your old Ultimate friends David Koch was there too, I heard. You guys are going to have like a little reunion game where all the old people are going to get back together on the Ultimate Frisbee court or pitch or field, or whatever you guys call it.
Pitch.
So you grab your you grab your Ultimate bag, you go play, and you come back. Now a little twist on this game is if you had to pick 3 discs now, since you've been playing disc golf for 5 years, that you feel like would be the easiest to transition from with a strong Ultimate background that are still PDGA legal discs, what 3 discs would you choose to play at a tournament that is not just like a short course where you could get around with like a flippy Frisbee? Say you're going to play FDR whites. What 3 discs do you think you would use with just an Ultimate background, knowing now what you know about disc golf and discs to play around? Like if you had someone that's a really good Ultimate Frisbee player, they never played disc golf before, what 3 discs would you give them that wouldn't just be like a putter?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'll probably go 1 mid-range, and I would probably honestly say a buzz. I feel like it's just the best all around. Straight flying. Anyone can throw it.
Feels great in the hand.
Yeah. Feels good. Okay. So then I think not putter-wise.
A throwing putter. You could include a throwing putter too.
Oh, a throwing putter. Okay, honestly, when I first started coming from Ultimate, I threw the Nova. I know, Jason, I know you throw a Nova still, right? I think that flies so similarly to an Ultimate disc that if you have an Ultimate background, you can kind of throw that disc however you want to throw it, and it's going to do what you want to do. And it goes super straight. And you can putt with it, so it counts as putter. And then...
For distance, what are we thinking?
Yeah, distance. Let's see.
Or at least enough distance to get birdies at FDR White.
I'm thinking like a semi-stable 9-speed, maybe. It's so different because I feel like the answer is different from female ultimate to male ultimate. If you're a male ultimate player, I think you can handle like higher speeds faster. So like honestly, maybe a Wraith or something of that nature. But if you're talking like female ultimate player, I'd probably go with like a Saint Pro, something like semi-stable.
And what about an actual just putting putter?
Putting putter, I have very little opinions on. I am a person that can putt with any putter, and I've heard from several ultimate players now playing disc golf various things. Like some prefer very deep putters, some prefer not deep putters at all. So I feel like I don't have a good answer for that one. I use a Warden, so let's say that.
That's what I was going to ask.
So it's Tuesday, and you're in second place behind Justin Muccelli at J-Dubs Championship. And you bring somebody who's played Ultimate but never played disc golf before. Like if you were just going to teach him for that one round to get as many points as possible, would you have him throw forehand or backhand with an Ultimate background?
I'd still have him throw backhand, I think. The way you throw an Ultimate disc forehand versus a disc golf disc forehand is so different. Backhand, I think, is just more transferable if you're coming off the street with just an Ultimate background. Mm-hmm. I don't even grip my forehand Ultimate throw and my forehand disc golf throw the same way.
I would think it would be pretty difficult to throw an Ultimate disc forehand.
With like a stacked 2-finger, like, yeah, you'd have like a lot of weight far out from like your tipping point in your finger. I feel like it'd be easy to like wobble it. Do you spread your fingers more? Or
yeah, my Ultimate grip is a spread grip, but it's actually funny. That's not the way you want to throw it. If you're going for power, you want to do like a stack finger grip. They call it a power grip in Ultimate.
Did you like my use of the phrase outside in? I think that's an Ultimate term.
It is.
All right. So what is your go-to course beverage?
Honestly, water. If I'm not drinking water, I'm drinking a Celsius. It's pretty boring.
Isn't that still water?
It's still, I guess, technically water.
What flavor Celsius is your go-to?
I really enjoy strawberry lemonade. It's a really good flavor. Or they have like a tropical one. I forget what the actual name of the Celsius, though.
Mango Breeze.
It sounds like a good one.
What about your go-to off-the-course beverage?
I'm a huge soda drinker, caffeine-free Diet Pepsi, which I know it's horrible for me, but...
That's like the opposite of Kyle Hirsch. I'm pretty sure he's just living that DC life, that Diet Coke life.
I think me and Kyle have talked about it, honestly.
You've got a tournament coming up in July, Fun in the Sun.
Yes. So Fun in the Sun, it's kind of like a almost rebranding of what we used to have the Warrior Princess, as I mentioned before, at J Park. It's an all-women's event. We're planning on having a clinic in the morning and then kind of like a potluck lunch. And then we're going to go into a one-round sanctioned on the SPW white tees, so the short tees. I'm really looking forward to it. We have 18 women signed up right now, which is great. I think my goal was like 20 to 25. So I think by July, we'll probably hit those numbers. I'm really looking for it to be like very beginner friendly. I feel like Mass is doing really good things with the whole women's series they have going on, and signing up for those initially, like a few years ago, it was kind of really low numbers, like 20 to 30 women, and they're selling out tournaments now. So I'm just looking to build on that momentum, hoping to get more women out in New York. I know they're there. I've seen women I've never met before, don't recognize out on the course. So just trying to find ways to get them out and playing tournaments.
It says it's part of the New York Women's Empire Series. What's that?
Yeah, they're starting a women's series in New York. Mass does a similar thing where it's kind of like a point series. So you just have like a set tournaments for the series, and then every time you play in that division, you get points for whatever place you come in. And then I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with those points at the end of the season, but I think they're planning on something for the winners of each division from the most points.
Well, it sounds like it changed a lot, but I did have the question. Since you started playing in 2019, have you noticed noticeable changes in women's disc golf?
Yeah, 100%. And it's been less in the New York area, but when I first started out playing, there obviously wasn't too many opportunities, I feel like, even in just the disc cap area back then. So I would try to find a tournament almost every weekend. So I'd venture out to the Mass area, and yeah, it's blown up big time for the women's scene for sure.
I remember when I first started, especially with tournaments and such, like 2013 or so. Do you find when you go to tournaments and you're like when you get a player pack, used to be everything you find was like 175. Has that changed?
It depends. If the tournament is geared more towards women's or beginners, they do have a lot of options. I know some tournament directors make it a point to get those like lightweight discs, but I understand sometimes it's hard. I think it really depends on what the manufacturer is sending them. So I definitely have seen it more, but it probably could use a little more work on that front.
All right, so Fun in the Sun, that's at July 14th at Stephen
July
P. Wallace.
14th, yep.
That's a C tier, PDJ sanctioned. It looks like there's options for whole sponsors, so anybody can help $15 for a whole sponsorship.
I think I'm halfway filled for a whole sponsorship. I mean, shout out to the guys who help maintain Stephen P. Wallace. They've donated, honestly, a good chunk of money towards this tournament, trying to get more females out there playing the course. So big shout out to them. But yeah, there's still whole sponsorships available. A lot of the whole sponsorship money just goes to like renting out the course and lunch and trophies for the AMs. So support a whole if you can.
Nice. And you said there's a clinic. It's not until July, but any kind of format plans for that?
Yeah, I have a loose plan for the clinic. I've talked to Kat Bemis and Jess Lasasso. They're going to help me out. So my plan kind of is to have like 3 different stations. So we're going to have a putting station, kind of like an approach upshot station, and then a station for driving. And I'm going to kind of put people into groups of like very beginner, intermediate, and then advanced, and kind of gear each station to those 3 groups depending on who's there. So like you're not in the putting group as a advanced player like learning the same things as the beginner players, because I think, even if you're an advanced player, I think we still have some ideas for the clinic for those advanced type players too.
Is this your first time being a tournament director, or have you done that before?
I haven't hosted a disc golf tournament, but I have tournament directed for Ultimate.
How many people do you get to wrangle at an Ultimate thing?
It's quite a lot. I've only done a small tournament, which is still a lot of people. I mean, you're talking 6 to 8 teams. Each team brings 20 people. So it's quite a lot.
Sounds like you're overqualified.
Randy, have you ever played at any of these events that she's tournament directed in Ultimate?
Wait, have I, Kate? I was on your team. No, okay.
No, it was after, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I was on her team when we played together. Were you the captain then? No,
maybe Garrett and Charles.
Oh, that's right. So no, guess not. They were probably great though.
So, I've been running tournaments for a couple of years now, and women turnout has not exactly been the highest for mine. What would you like to see, like as a player? What can I do as a TD that would make things, more welcoming for women, a better experience for a woman who wants to play a disc golf tournament?
Yeah, honestly, Alex, I think you're doing a great job. I think nothing about your tournaments are turn off for women signing up. I think it's a problem in general where I think women feel very intimidated playing in a tournament setting, which I think running these smaller women-only tournaments will help aid in getting women to sign up for the bigger, like mixed type tournaments. So
sure.
I think our tournament directors do a good job, but it's hard when there's like the intimidation factor there,
Yeah, that's definitely a sentiment I've heard from my sister, where she definitely feels a lot more comfortable going to the women's only tournaments as opposed to the mixed ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to see more women's only tournaments then.
So I mentioned in the intro, you played Queen City Gambit in Charlotte, North Carolina. Do you play a lot of tournaments not in New York? How far do you go?
I do play quite a bit outside of New York just because, like, besides Mindkill, I feel like we don't have any of those, like, really large events happening around us. So my goal last year was to try to get out to as many, like, B, A tiers that I find that were, like, within a reasonable distance. So
I can relate to that goal.
Brewster Ridge Open, I did the Queen City Gambit last year. I went and played the tournament at Iron Hill. Jaimen, Koch, and I went down to Lake Marshall and played there. So I'm going to travel where the big tournaments are and where there's like larger FPO fields that I can play against.
Where's the farthest you've gone to for a disc golf tournament?
I did go to Ledgestone a couple years ago, 2020, 2021, I think.
Where's that one?
That one's in Illinois. And then I went down to Florida near Orlando for Am Worlds with Randy and Kat. What year was that? Gosh,
It
2021?
was delayed. Yeah, it was 2021 because of COVID.
Yeah. So those two are probably the furthest. I haven't really been too far out west yet. I'm really hoping to sign up for Worlds for this year. Actually, I needed to get one more rating point to be able to be included in like the tiered registration. So I went to tournament and went down 1 point instead. So I'm grouped in with open registration this year, but I'm still hoping to sign up. I think they have like 80 spots open, and last year there's only like 71 FPO. So crossing my fingers because Pro Worlds this year is down near where my parents live. So it'll be very convenient.
Do you find it more difficult to qualify for Worlds in the women's divisions?
Oh, no. I think like there hasn't been a year where there's been spots open when they open registration to everyone. I mean, you have to be classified as a pro, so you have to have taken money in the previous year and then paid your PDGA professional dues. But besides that, I think it's kind of like, honestly, if there's spots open, anyone can sign up.
So when did you decide to become pro, and what made you make that decision?
So we did Am Worlds 2021. I think right after that, I started playing pro tournaments. I think it was just kind of like a why not kind of thing. And I think it always helps me. Playing with better people is going to make you better. So I just made the jump, and honestly, I think it really did help my game. And I feel the same way even now when, you know, it's just me, honestly, like it happened this weekend. It's just me and FPO, so I'll move up to MPO because watching them is going to make me a better player.
Whenever I play with much better players, do you ever get outside of your game because you try to do too much?
I think for me, I don't, because I know, especially if it's me moving to MA1 or MPO, I know the skill set is very different, right? Like they're going to throw much further than me and do things that I can't do. But it's more of a mental, like, what kind of decisions are they making? And I kind of take that as a lesson, more of like, I'm going to try to do these crazy things because I'm trying to play like up to this level, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. While you can learn a lot playing with better players, I think that's the one bugaboo is like, you're like, oh, well, he just did that. I could do that. You know, you watch like a Randy throw and it's like, did he even try on that one? He just threw it, he bombed it. And it just,
Right.
you know, like no effort.
I watch Randy more for how he throws it than where he throws it to. Randy's kind of cartoonish when he throws a disc. I mean, I'm saying that from experience, though.
I think we're different ends of the spectrum on cartoonish throws.
So I'm looking at your upcoming events. It looks like you've already got like 9 events. Those are the big ones, I guess, for the year.
Yeah, at this point, like, I don't even know what I'm signed up for anymore.
Well, I see the next thing is this weekend, Oakham Gala.
Oh, yeah, Oakham Gala. I mean, I think it's only a C tier, but this is one of the mass women's events I'm talking about. It's like 72 people, and the pro field, it has 18 FPO signed up. So I'm super excited about this one. I kind of considering it almost like the start to the season. I mean, I know FDR is a big one, but the field was still pretty small. So I'm excited.
The start of the season, you've already won twice. I just took my sweatshirt off 2 days ago. You've already won 2 events. But Oakham, didn't one of you guys play there recently for New England?
We played there for New England. Yeah, disc captains did.
Oh, you're on the disc captains?
Yep.
501, that's near Maple, right? The Sunstein Open.
Yeah, I think that one's near Maple. The Northeast Women's Global event, that one's a big one at Maple Hill. Let's see how many people they have 98 signed up and 24 FPO. That's going to be a big one. And that's a B tier.
If you're not looking to travel that far for the women's global event, I believe Jaimen's running one at Crandall.
Yep, May 19th.
The day after. I see Syracuse Open's on here. You played that before?
Actually, no, I don't think I've played Syracuse Open before, but I have played the courses.
The Clay Park Classic.
Yeah, Clay Park Classic is what I did last year.
Okay.
Syracuse Open, though, is like good added cash, so I'm excited for that one this year.
And there's always lots of pizza.
Well, it's sponsored by the Pie Guys, so I assume that's got to do something with pizza.
I think, yeah, last year I remember it was a big thing because the shit came late. But like when they finally did come, they had like folding table after folding table after folding table that was just loaded with like pizza on a super hot day. Like it wasn't really, it was good, but like I would have much rather taken a nice old ice cold beer, like a ruby red Kolsch.
Who makes those?
Genesee, which is actually just down the road from Syracuse anyway. Down the road.
You said you're on the disc captains?
Yep.
So you didn't play this weekend?
No, sadly.
But we had a couple guys who had a New England team challenge this weekend. That would be Alex and Randy. Which one of you guys wants to?
I think Alex has to.
Yeah, I guess I'll start it off. You know, I went back and looked for it, but I couldn't find where he actually said it. I was pretty sure Travis had said everyone should be there by 7:30 because that's when we're doing matchups. And then I got there at like 7:25 because I was running a little bit late and I couldn't find anyone. I couldn't find any of the captains. I couldn't find any players. So I start texting people and luckily, you know, most people were just kind of out and about either on the course or on their way. But it still meant we got pairings started much later than we would have wanted to. And all of us are all worried about, or I was worried at least, because, you know, it's finals. So potentially 3 rounds. We're going to have a hard stop for our first round. And, you know, we're getting started later than we want to. So I'm all thrown off already.
When you say a hard stop, what's the time frame typically? Like, is it like 2 hours or like, is there a number that you use?
Generally, we're looking at about 3 hours. I think if we had gotten started with matchups right at 7:30, we would have been done, you know, 7:40, 7:45, giving people 15 minutes to get out to their hole and then, you know, start at around 8. And then the hard stop was set to 11 o'clock. So about 3 hours.
Wait, so what happened? You got there at 7:30. So were you late or were you early? No one else was there.
I wanted to be there a couple minutes earlier than that, but I was on time. Everybody else from the other teams were on time. For a second, I thought I was going to have to do matchups all on my own, but we were able to track down everybody. The place where we're going to do matchups is the Sap House. And so Maple Hill has got the pro shop, and then a floor above that is the Sap House. They've got like a billiards table, and they rent it out for parties, basically. So that's where things were set up to do matchups. But yeah, so I was up there. I was like, all right, well, if it gets to, you know, whatever time, I think it was like 7:45 or something like that, I'll just start it and then they can show up when they do. Of course, as I'm thinking that, Kat and Travis and Billy all walk right up the stairs. So I was saved from having to do everything on my own.
That must have been like the most anxious 6 minutes of your life.
It was, but I had some of the sheets. I had enough scouting sheets for myself because apparently I ran out of printer paper the night before. But yeah, so I had the research. I wouldn't have liked to do it on my own, but I had, you know, enough experience that I like to think I wouldn't have shot myself in the foot. But, you know, looking at the results, not to spoil things too much, but if I had gone on my own, I don't think it could have gone much worse. So round 1, we were up against Dacey. Dacey is a classic opponent for Stony Kill. We were in E pool together for the longest time. Then we moved up to D pool. Then they moved up to D pool the next year. And now we're both in finals. So, you know, it's nice people. We know these guys. Always fun to play against them. Yeah, going down matchups, it didn't seem that bad. You know, we were rolling with the minimum and technically a little bit off from the minimum. So you need 18 total people, 2 of which must be women. And we were rolling 15 men and 3 women, which throws things off a little bit for the next round. But for now, they had 3 ladies, so everything worked out.
You guys used a lot of subs for your wedge match. Did that affect who you could bring to the finals? Was it a negative impact?
You know, I would say yes. You know, we definitely did drop people who could have played in finals. And in general, having more people is going to be an advantage. But, you know, we're rolling with a good core group that, you know, are all good players. I had no problems with any of the people we were playing. It would have been nice to have a handful more, but, you know, I was confident in our team.
I just had to get that question in there for Jaimen.
You know, if we hadn't made the roster moves, there's a good chance we wouldn't have made finals in the first place. So
that's cool. I do see Mindy Potts won.
Yeah, one of the few that we won, unfortunately. Going out there, it seemed like we were doing, like I was looking at the matchups on paper and things looked pretty good. It didn't look crazy, but we struggled in that first round for sure. I played with Scott Mosher, and I know we were just absolutely struggling out there.
How many times had you played Maple Hill before, personally?
Maple Hill Blues, probably 3 or 4 times, which is what we were playing for doubles.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, just any layout at Maple Hill, probably a dozen in that general range. So I'm relatively familiar with the course. Like, it's not a local course for me, obviously, but I know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was really disappointing that first round. We definitely shot several strokes worse than we should have and lost by 2. So that was rough coming in. But as we started to see the scores from the other squads, it felt a little bit less bad for us specifically and a little bit more bad for the team, because as we came in, I think we scored 3 points or 4.5 because we had a push in singles and a push in doubles.
You guys were the 2 and 3 matchup?
Correct.
Is that why you got the back 9 as far as where your starting points?
I assume that's why they did it. I don't know how they officially made that decision, but I assumed, the 1 seed would get the front 9. It's a lot closer at Maple Hill.
Going to hole 13, is that a trek?
Second longest walk.
Okay.
And has a hill, so arguably one of the worst walks.
That's pretty bad. That's actually maybe the worst.
That was the other thing, was once we got matchups done, we were done at just after 7:50. And I talked to the other captains and they're like, yeah, tee off at 8. And I'm like, okay, I need to be halfway across the course in 8 minutes. So I just took off. I just started walking. I didn't try to find my partner. I didn't try to find anybody else on the squad. I sent the board to the team chat and I was like, all right, everybody go. They said tee off at 8, hard stop at 11. I was just trying to get people to go. And then as I'm walking past, I think it was 16's tee, I see a message in the chat from Kat saying Stony Killer's meeting at hole 18. And I'm like, well, I am very far away. I am not making that. If somebody wants to FaceTime me or give me a video call, then I will be a part of it. But otherwise, I think we're just going.
I missed that meeting too. I think a lot of people missed that meeting. It was like a lot of people were headed to their holes already because it was such a limited amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I posted saying, everybody get moving. We got to go. And yeah. So I apparently missed a bit of extra scheduling talk because I had taken off. But yeah. So how did your round go, Randy?
Well, so I'll Tarantino it. So we pushed, right?
Sure.
And it started off super hot. I took like a solo birdie. We took all of my shots on 18 to start, which is not the easiest birdie ever. So
no, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I came out pretty hot. We were like up 4 after like first 4 holes, basically. So things were feeling really good. And then they snuck back, I think, with 2 holes to go. Like we had like a 20-footer to be up 2 with 1 hole to play. And like we both hit like cage and band.
Oof.
So like that would have just locked it in, because with 2 strokes on the last hole, we could have just like done layup kind of thing. So we get to hole 17 to finish the round. And that, if you don't know the blue layout, it's the one you have to throw through the uprights that are literally like 5 feet wide.
Yeah, it's not an easy gap to hit.
Yeah.
And they've got wooden boards on the trees that frame the gap. And every time you hit that wooden board, you can hear it, 3-4 holes away.
Yeah, it's like a gunshot.
Yeah.
It's great. We got to that point and I was thinking in my head, like, if we go to a playoff, I can take these guys on playing 18 again, because I just knew I had more distance than them. So like 18 was going to be okay if we had to go into a playoff. So like Tyler hits the wood on his tee shot and lands kind of in an okay spot where I was like, easy bogey, like we'll tie and we'll go play off on 18. So I was just thinking, if I don't want to mess up the layup, I'm just going to go for the shot anyways, and like took like a straight fairway driver and just tried to like send one down the middle, hit the wood, also landed right next to Tyler's disc.
Oof.
And we take our easy bogey kind of from there. We just like chuck one up the hill, lay up, take our bogey, and then we find out there's no playoff. So like it was a bad decision, it turns out. And if I had known, maybe I would have just like tossed a putter through the little gap and played it for a 3. So that was kind of lame. And then we got back and it turned out it didn't really, that 1 point that we lost did not affect the final outcome.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten an official answer on that. I was under the impression if you're playing doubles, you go to a playoff, you play until the hard stop. But apparently other people were thinking it's just a push.
Everyone followed that rule like all day that I talked to.
Well, here's the other thing is I'm still not officially part of the captains group on Facebook.
Ooh.
So like, I'm sure there was a rules sheet for finals, but I didn't get it. So I was just running off of, intuition and whatever is in the main rules page, which I don't think mentioned it.
Yeah, I just looked at the New England Team Challenge thing, and I didn't show the actual rules.
Yeah, like you said, it didn't matter. We took a lot of losses that I was thinking would have been wins, but, other than the playoffs where we moved up from E pool to D pool, I've been told the Stony Killers pretty much every time go to 3 rounds. So, we were kind of thinking we were going to have to play 3 rounds one way or another, and this way we might dodge tank. So we weren't complaining too much.
The score doesn't show it, but if you look closer at the scores, it's pretty close.
Yeah, there weren't a lot of blowouts, a lot of 2-3 stroke wins.
Yeah.
In the middle of the round, it was sprinkling on and off.
So April showers bring May flowers, Alex.
Yeah. I went on and off with my rainfly probably 4 or 5 times on the day. Because every time it started raining, it felt like it was going to keep raining, and then it'd go away after 2 or 3 holes. So you can never predict these things.
What was the result of the 1-4 match?
Predictably, Tank beat Newton Hill. Everybody saw that coming. And no offense to Newton Hill, they were a very good team. But Tank definitely felt like a cut above this year, and probably will feel like a cut above next year too. Getting to lunch, they had Underground Barbecue show up. They were cooking all morning. You could smell it as you were walking by from 18 to 1, which was always a good experience. I had a nice pulled pork sandwich with some mac and cheese. Yeah, felt good about that. Felt good about getting some fuel in for the next round. Eventually, we were able to track down Newton Hill's captains. We didn't take too long because obviously, we're dealing with a time crunch. Got our matchups in there, and I felt much better about those matchups. We had kind of settled in, and we had been able to think about this pairing worked, this pairing didn't work, this guy in singles worked, this guy in singles didn't work, that sort of thing. So going into the next one, they did have the curveball of they only had 2 ladies. So in order to avoid taking penalty points for being under the minimum, we had to play a lady in a guy spot. So we unfortunately knew that one was going to be a little bit of a throwaway. And Newton Hill has a lot of good players. There's not going to be a lot of opportunities to try and steal a win there. And unfortunately, that landed on my mom playing that matchup. So it happens.
Wait a second. They didn't have enough women?
So the minimums are 18 total players, 2 of which must be women.
Oh, 2. And because you had 18 but 3.
Yeah, we had 15 and 3. They had, 20-something and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So both of us made all of the minimums, just we had one more lady, and because we only had 18 total players, we had to play her.
Okay.
And unfortunately, there's no half-point bonus.
That's what I was wondering, but it sounds like based on the way you explained it, that wouldn't,
Yeah, that's the way it panned out, unfortunately.
Finals, man. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. We had looked at previous matchups, and we had played at Newton Hill, so it wasn't exactly, perfectly accurate, but we had looked at previous matchups, and we decided that mixed cards were going to be the way to go. And I think they were thrown off by that, which is always a good thing. If you can throw off your opponent, if they're not prepared for something, then, it makes things a little bit easier for you. The rest of the matchups looked good. I thought things were going to be better on my end. Got paired up with Joe Jaskolka, who is, a great player, fun to play with. He's, a bit more on the technical side while I'm a bit more on the power side. So I thought that was going to complement each other nicely. Long story short, it didn't. Pretty much every bad thing that could happen did happen. We started on 12, which is the farthest walk for the back 9, but didn't have any major hills to walk up. So it's arguably better than the 13 start, but, still sending myself out very far, which, very much the opposite of what I like to do at Stony Hill. Very early on, we had a pair of spit outs, which was, very demoralizing. Both of us hit, solid chain, solid metal, and it just didn't fall. And then just a couple holes later, we had a 30-footer on hole 2 that we both hit metal on, and both discs rolled to 60 plus feet. So we had a birdie putt and ended up taking a bogey, and that put us back 3 strokes at that point, and we just kept bleeding strokes from there. We tried to go aggressive on a couple of things, to try and make up a point or 2, and it just wasn't working out. And they ended up beating us by 8 strokes, which, is sometimes it's just not your day. I think on a different day at Stony Hill, maybe even at Newton Hill, we would have at least been able to put up a much better showing, maybe even beat these guys. But, they were nice guys. They were gracious about it. So I wasn't complaining. And you're playing Maple Hill. There's always that element of you're playing an awesome disc golf course, so might as well have fun with it.
Randy, it looks like you and Kat did a couple swap between round 1 and 2.
Yes. It was a wife swap scenario, maybe the more boring kind, but we had fun anyways. But yeah, so I played with Carly in the second round, which was fun. We've definitely played at least once before for the Stony Killers and done well. So we had high expectations and we started off super strong. Once again, we started on hole 18 and started off with a 2-stroke lead on that one. She put a beautiful upshot in play right against the rock wall. So I was able to go for the green, came up just short, like slid into the board. So we took like a really easy par on that one and our opponents struggled. It was, I think, windier in the second round. So they struggled with their upshot. Windier. Yeah, they went OB. So they ended up taking a double bogey. And then we were kind of cruising for a while. And then they got back to even, I think maybe on hole 4. Yeah, I think hole 4. And then we get to hole 5, which is the shot over the water. It's probably the shortest water carry, but it's like a forehand that's real exposed. And it's got that kind of peninsula green with the wood chips. And I put a forehand out there and it like hits the chips. It's like that fake ace run in your head where like it could have gone in, but it probably didn't have any chance.
Right.
You got big old AMIs.
Yeah. And we're super happy with that. We walk down, like Carly picks up her disc out of the fairway and we get down there and they've now extended the water OB kind of crescent into a line that like projects all the way to the fairway of the next hole. We had no clue. So I was like OB by 10 whole feet, honestly. Our opponent really didn't want to talk about our options too much. So like, cause I kind of wanted to go back and play Carly's, like just assess where hers was in the fairway and like play from there. They didn't really like that idea. So we just putted from the OB line and missed it, unfortunately. So that was a 2-stroke swing that felt a little punishing. And then, I don't know, it was like trading blows the whole time. And just like before, we found ourselves up 1 stroke playing hole 17. And Carly actually went through the upright. So she's better than Tyler.
Clearly.
Yeah. So I had the option now to just absolutely send one. So I did, and I hit the boards as loud as humanly possible. And then, our opponents were out there. They threw their upshot. So they were putting for par. I throw our upshot, which I assumed was like a park job. And I'm already counting it as a win in my head. And we walk up there and it's still just like a 15-footer, like up against one of the skinny trees that's on the green. And it's a straddle putt. And both of us hit some chains and the other of them went in. So we pushed that round too.
That was a little bit rougher because the final score at the end of that round was 8.5 to 9.5. So literally any match that had flipped, even from a push to a win, would have at least forced a playoff.
Who came in last? Who can we blame? Who was the last card to come back?
Whose card came in last? I'm not sure.
I take full credit, but I think it's a negative and a positive. So like I could have just like smashed that 15-footer and we would have had to play a third round against Tank and been like real tired and like driven home in the dark.
But then my prediction would have come true, Randy.
And here's the thing. So we're wrapping up, we're feeling rough. As we're walking in, Joe and I, we hear a big cheer coming from hole 18. I'm not sure what has just happened.
Somebody saved a bogey.
Yeah, probably. But as we're walking up, we see purple hoodies celebrating, and Daisy is purple. So we're seeing Daisy celebrating their win over Tank, which was absolutely an upset. Like no one expected Tank to drop anything this year. Not a finals match, not a regular season match. So that was super surprising. But yeah, I was super impressed by Daisy. They played very well and were able to take one off one of the better teams that you're going to see in Team Challenge for a long time. So they locked in their spot. And yeah, they only had to play 2 rounds. So whoever won our round would have had to play Team Tank for a spot in C-Pool, which, I'm not going to say we don't have a chance, especially with them coming off of a loss. But if we had to play a third round against Tank, I'm not sure anyone on the team would have been particularly happy about it, because it would have been a third round that we were almost definitely going to lose. And, everybody's tired. We just played 2 rounds already. I'm not happy that we lost, but I'm not complaining about it either.
I was walking around after, and I think the Stony Killers were in we were in higher spirits just being done than Tank was. Like
Yes.
Everyone on Tank was visibly depressed, and we're just like, hey, good season, like see you next year, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, we knew going in, we kind of limped into playoffs. yeah, we got there, which was awesome. But, just getting there is an accomplishment. And I think that was good enough for a lot of the people on our team. And honestly, seeing a lot of the tank reactions was very good entertainment for us, even though we had lost. They were not the best sports about losing, to say the least. I don't know if it was rough language. They were not kind to their own teammates. We'll say that.
I mean, I was pumped seeing Daisy. Like there were some guys on Daisy crying. They were so happy. That was great. I was so
That's
pumped for
also
them.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Daisy has been, with us for a long time. We know those guys. We like those guys a lot. So if it couldn't be us, I'm happy it was Daisy.
I don't know if I'm connecting two dots that are not actually connected, but today on the New England Team Challenge page, Tank publicly posted that there are a few open spots on the roster next year.
Saw that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's
Was that the
brutal.
team that all the stuff was about? People being sore losers?
No, that was an E-pool. That was
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, so much drama.
Yeah, there's drama all over the place.
Yeah, I think that's just some grumpy people.
Yeah, I didn't see the full context for that one, but, some people celebrate, in a way that lifts their own team up, and some people celebrate in a way that knocks another team down, which I prefer to avoid personally, but, sometimes it happens.
Yep. I didn't see what all the fuss was about. I read a little bit of the thread that it came from, but it was below 100 comments, so it doesn't even make the threshold for New England Team Challenge dump.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
Yep.
I think I went back and checked it once. I'm like, well, this isn't popping off. I guess it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Yeah. That's
Yep. But yeah, so I'm already looking forward to next year. Let's see. Devons and Mountainside are coming down from C-Pool, and Oak Ridge and Maple Hill Diamonds are coming up from E-Pool.
Man, your pool just got so freaking close.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's some low travel for sure. I'm looking
Jeez.
forward to it.
All right, cool. Well, you can pay for our gas because ours just got way farther away.
Yep.
Before we recorded tonight, you posted this is hidden because New England team is a private group, so I didn't get to read it. Is that what you guys are talking about right now? Or was that something different?
Oh, that's the Maple thing, the letter from Steve Dodge. I do want to talk about that because I did bring it up last time, so I feel like putting the end on that story would be nice.
So just a quick run through, posted less than an hour before we started recording tonight being Monday, because it confuses everyone, not just me. So this is from the Maple Hill Facebook page. Hi, New England Team Challenge. The following message is from Steve Dodge, co-owner of Maple Hill. Gage and I are stoked about Steve's idea, and follows is Steve's message. Hi, Ryan and Gage. I remember the day that Joe Yaskis first told me about an idea he had where the best players from one course would go and play the best players from another course. He thought he could get 6 or 8 teams and we would have a little season during the winter months. Sounded like the greatest idea ever, and seeing how it has grown, it just may have been. I know that we hosted the Team Challenge Finals for D-Pool this past weekend, and it looked like everyone had a great time. I'd like to make this a tradition and have Maple Hill host Team Challenge every year. I know that we charged as if this was a normal tournament since the course was closed all day, but I'd like to offer Maple Hill to the Team Challenge for free every year. On top of that, I'd like to kick in some money to get food too. Team Challenge has been very good to New England Disc Golf, and New England Disc Golf has been very good to Maple Hill. It feels like we should complete the triangle and give back to Team Challenge. My proposal, starting at the A-League level, Maple Hill is available to the division winners for free, and we will provide up to $500 to help get food provided. We've got some great food partners and could make this happen. If the A-League season champs want to hold it elsewhere, the offer would be passed down to the B-level league, and so on. I'd like to make this an annual thing so we can sit on the bleachers and watch one of New England's greatest traditions. What do you think? From Steve Dodge. So, to summarize, Maple Hill is going to make finals free for Team Challenge if they want it, which is awesome. But yeah, I think what may have happened is they got some feedback regarding, $700 a team for D-Pool and are trying to alleviate that a little bit.
Yeah, which I feel like, I don't know, I don't think like anyone would expect it to be free. But especially after we talked about it last time, it seemed a little expensive.
Yeah, it did seem a little expensive, and I definitely didn't expect free. But, it seems like a good gesture, even if, it was motivated by them catching some flack before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's impossible to say what disc golf in the area would look like without New England Team Challenge, but I think it's certainly possible to say that Steve is right and that Team Challenge has really pushed disc golf along in the competitive environment of the state and of the area in general. So Maple Hill probably has, been one of the primary benefactors of that, being, one of the longest standing tea time greens fees courses. I think that is something that they have benefited from. And I think that they're seeing that, that's maybe not such a bad thing. A gesture of good faith to a group that's over 2,000 strong probably isn't the worst way to go.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, after editing and listening to that episode, I was like, they are renting it out for 3 rounds. So maybe that's not too exorbitant. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It wasn't insane. It worked out to about $40 per person for our squad, and that's because we had the absolute minimum that could come. If we had more people, obviously it'd be less. So, it was a chunk. I'm not going to say $40 is nothing, but if you think about just a regular tournament that you're playing, you're going to be paying more than $40 just for entry for most tournaments around here. And, that'll get you 2 rounds. It's almost never going to get you 3 rounds. So, yeah.
So when does it get decided where finals is going to be? If people knew, if all 8 teams before the season started knew that, hey, we're going to do finals at Maple Hill this year, it's going to be $700 a team, which works out to $40 a person. Do you think that it would have been there?
Maybe. I think initially we had voted for finals, and I think this happens, middle of the season, December, January, in that general range. And once we had decided on Maple Hill, we reached out to them and talked to them about, how much it would cost. And when it came back as, $25 to $30 a player, people balked at that and wanted to re-vote for our finals location. So I think I can say pretty honestly that if people knew it was going to be that much, they may not have voted for it. But personally, I would have, but I can see other teams and other people not wanting to.
I think it's important. Finals basically has to be at a private course because there cannot be casuals interrupting the flow of traffic. So no matter what, I think finals should be at a course that you have to pay at. Now, some courses it's going to be like $10 or maybe $20. So now we're really only arguing over the $20 difference. So it's not that crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've only played finals at Meadowbrook, and I've only been to finals once actually. But
I've played at Rapscallion. I've played at Oak Ridge. Who's newly in D-Pool, and then Maple Hill was the next one. The alternative, if we didn't do Maple Hill this year, was going to be Webster Fish and Game, which I believe is a private course, but I'm not 100% sure.
But if you were to make that the thing, what if it was just built in to the pay-in at the beginning of the season, the amount, that $40? Before you played 1 round, you knew that we were playing at Maple Hill. That money was included in what you paid for. Are you happy with that?
And then you could put all that money into like a short-term CD at your local credit union and let the interest pay for lunch.
Yeah, I think that idea works a lot better on the local stage. I know that's something that New York Team Challenge has done at least a part of. Jason posted that thing not too long ago about the league has $400 of discretionary funds because team dues paid more than finals location would have cost. So when it's just one pool, I think that works out nicely. When you're talking, 2,000 people or however many, across all the pools, I think that starts getting a little bit complicated, and it's a lot of money to have a volunteer group hold on to. But, I am not a business person or an economics major, so I don't have all the details on that one.
I think Maple Hill is setting a really good precedent for the best private courses in the area to start offering a pools finals to be free as kind of like a, hey, look.
An advertisement.
Yeah, it's a good idea. So, I mean, Oakholm, a few other big ones, Oak Ridge. I mean, these are all good finals locations because they're private. They have parking. So I don't know. Maybe I'm calling it right now.
I mean, especially a place like the Oakholm or whatever it was called, where they have a brewery.
Yeah, exactly.
Sell a product other than a greens fee.
Yeah, I mean, Oakholm would make their money back on food and beverages just from having 1 million people there that day. So the greens fees don't really matter that much.
It was also the timing of it. It's a weekend every year where you can count on 4 out of every 5 years being kind of crappy weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, filling up the course when you might otherwise not have as many.
Yeah.
I like it.
We'll demand it next season.
Yeah, we'll demand it from whatever course we end up getting to, because I think at this point, if A pool doesn't take it, it's not getting down to D pool.
A pool strategically, the Maple Hill team in A pool moved to Meadowbrook so that I think they can play at Maple when they make it to finals next year.
Oh, you think that's the ulterior motive?
Yeah, I didn't read the comments or anything, so that's my assumption.
I'm assuming it's just got too freaking expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we went and played them at their home match that we had to go to, we had to pay green fees.
Is that right?
Oh, I didn't think that was a thing unless it's a neutral.
No, yeah, this was last year. They might have added a new rule for this year, but yeah.
I remember
was
joking
gonna
about
say.
that bullshit too. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait a second. Like, we have no choice in this.
Yeah, we got to pay because they chose to play at a pay-to-play fucking course. Now it's all coming back to me. Fuck that.
There's the outrage.
Yeah, there.
Let it out.
I don't remember. It was probably something down like $15 anyways, right?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was like 10 for the day or something like that. But I think it was 10 for the day because the other team had covered half of ours. So I think it was 20 a day.
And for that, we did trickle start, didn't we?
I don't remember.
Like, I'm pretty sure we all teed off on hole one.
Maybe.
'Cause I threw
I
it
know
right
we
into the
trickle
water.
started second round, but we might have started the first round just all go.
Well, I didn't remember the first part, so there's no way I'm going to remember this part either.
But I do remember that we started all on separate holes first round and trickle started second round. So I can
Nice.
confirm.
Okay, so I was half right, and Jaimen was full right.
Like usual.
Yeah.
No, I honestly don't remember the first round at all. The only reason I remember the second one is because I just got to like bullshit with people. It was the first time I got to hang out on Abel Virgil's bench, so it was a really nice time to hang out.
Hell yeah.
So who won the final? Did we?
DC won their first two matches, so they were in. Then Newton Hill beat us in the losers match to play Team Tank in the final third round. And then Team Tank did beat Newton Hill to snag the second spot. So they are moving up to C-Pool.
Would it be crazy if, like, not to foreshadow anything, but like this cap just gets all juiced up and we go to finals this year and somehow Tank gets relegated and we send them back to D-Pool?
I am going to express some doubts about that one.
I mean, they only are required to bring 50% of their team back. What if 48% of them don't want to play anymore? They just get stronger. They just get better.
I think it depends on which 48% is leaving.
Oh, yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, if those guys show up, we're having a neutral match at Jason's house. Oh, sorry, that's the emergency course. Yeah, yep. Just a heads up, Jason. Get it ready, okay?
All right. Greens fees are $200. So,
Per person.
And we'll tell them that we'll cover half, but really it just means that they're still paying and we just won't pay anything.
Jason, was Minekill a viable option for finals? Is the weather there good, or?
we made finals, so I don't think anybody would have.
I'm just saying, in the weather normally, would that be a potential good course for that time of year?
It's not in its best shape because it gets pretty muddy, but it's not unplayable, so it's an option.
Okay. I didn't know if it still had snow, like.
CTK. Yeah, it's still coated.
Probably like a dusting of snow there, a little more than CTK.
So I got a message today, and this goes into Jaimen's tournament.
Is somebody bitching to you about my tournament?
No. Not bitching per se. More of a rules question that he wanted to be posed to everybody. He sent me a message.
He
Does anybody
broke
have
the
a
rules.
guess?
Yeah.
I've already heard this one.
Okay.
I haven't heard this one. I want to hear more.
Damn it, Bickersmith. It's too late. Everything's submitted, but it doesn't really matter.
All right, here we go. Sounds like some of you guys know the situation.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Go for it, Pat. Read the message.
Okay. I got a message earlier today from Evan Parsley on the Facey Spade. He says, "Hi, Pat. Earlier today, I posted a photo on Discap's Facebook page of my shoes, socks, and bare feet after having made a par putt in ankle-deep casual water on hole 5 of yesterday's CTK Flex tournament in the MA40 division. I got nervous and deleted the post after Brian Bickersmith commented that it was a courtesy violation of PDGA Rule 3.04C, the dress code. Nobody on my card called the violation at the time. Mike Zanchelli did call me a savage, and I finished in last place, so I don't feel that it affected the outcome of the tournament in any way. I'm curious to hear what you and your guests think about the situation."
Wait, did you say you had his shoes off?
Yeah. He landed in like the swamp on hole 5.
Yep, that's exactly the one I was thinking of.
Yep.
And he took his shoes off to make his putt.
Dang, I should have done that, Corey.
I know you would have been about 20 feet closer, but then you would have had wet shoes.
That is a scary place to take your shoes and socks off. No offense, but there's some metal around there.
Yeah, no, there absolutely is. In semi-related news, that's becoming a par 3 next.
Oh, I like that as a par 4.
Yeah. So besides the fact that it's flooded 7 months out of the year, covered in sharp metal and glass, there's also all of the trees on the green are ash trees. So they're all dead already.
Yep.
As that hole loses trees, it's just going to get way too easy. Then it's going to become another really long 3.5.
So you're shortening it?
Yep. On that big landing zone, I'm just going to kind of put the basket in the middle of that.
Oh, you mean right where I drove it to on Sunday?
Was there an orange flag next to it that I told you in the players meeting was to signify where the basket was going?
There's a players meeting.
Players email. Players meeting email.
Oh, I definitely did read it, but I might not have remembered that part. Because I remember how hard it was to read on my phone. I had to keep like zooming in and out to move the thing around because it would have been way easier to read it somewhere else. But
all right. So the shot that I really liked about that hole is still there.
Yeah, I mean, and then now it's just going to lead to a birdie if you make your putt.
There you go.
Yep. So to keep going in the wrong direction for a second, I'm going to take the OB off of it and weed whack all of the long grass. So there's just those really annoying bushes.
Okay.
Because I think those bushes are natural OB. And if it's a par 3 and you land in one of those bushes, you are not parring that hole.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I would rather people play from there and have to deal with the consequences as long as they're not losing their discs in tall grass. So it'll take a little bit more weed whacking from me, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. I think it'll be a better hole.
I'm looking forward to playing it.
Justin Muccelli's heart is breaking right now because he will no longer be able to eagle it.
I'm a little sad too. I was looking at it this weekend, but it's fine. I get it.
Yeah, sorry.
But as far as the socks and shoes go, I haven't read the rule in a long time, but it's my understanding that you have to have closed-toe feet coverings at all times. Otherwise, it's a courtesy violation.
Well, Alex, I went and researched, man, so I have the code right here.
Nice.
3.04 dress code, option C, whatever C. All competitors and staff are required to wear shoes or other foot coverings. Players will not be allowed to play in bare feet. Sandals or slides are allowed. But if you look at D, it says the PDGA recommends that the dress code in 4.04 be enforced at A-tier or lower tier events, but that decision lies solely with the tournament director.
Interesting. And I don't remember reading in my players meeting that Jaimen was enforcing the dress code.
I think that 404 is a different section, so you still have to wear shoes at all events, because I think it's like an insurance thing.
Oh, it does say 404. Damn it.
But it's a courtesy violation, so it's just a warning.
Wait.
812 courtesy. C, a player receiving a warning for the first violation of any courtesy rule. Each subsequent violation of any courtesy rule that player in the same round incurs one penalty throw. Wow. So if that was the only time he did it, that's his warning, right? Worst case.
That's what I'm hearing.
Or does he have to rethrow?
I wonder if the timing changes things. Like if you take off your socks and shoes and somebody goes, "Oh, that's a courtesy violation," and then you step up and still take a shot, like does that make it worse than?
No, man, that's double jeopardy. That's double jeopardy.
Get over at the beginning and play the rest of the round like that.
Yeah, it's just play the rest of the round with your shoes off because you never took your shoes off again.
Looking at the rule now.
Back the first time I took the rules exam to be an official, I was using all the resources, so I was getting through it. It was laborious because you had to look up each one.
Yep.
But I got to the end and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I did okay with this. And the last question was, must a PDGA player wear shoes during a round? And I'm like, dude, I don't care what he's wearing. If he steps on a rock, I don't care, yeah. And if I got it wrong, so. But I still passed.
Hey, no shirts, no shoes, no service.
Yeah.
It says all competitors and staff are required. So if staff doesn't, then they get a courtesy violation?
Oh, I'd hate to stroke a staff member.
What happens if you get 2 courtesy violations as a staff member?
Good question.
You get entered into the event with a score of 1.
Yeah. I mean, my initial thought goes back to Maple Hill with all those divers during the tournament.
Oh yeah, I wonder if they're wearing shoes.
Yeah,
I think them on it.
It's kind of a CYA thing. They're just putting it in there so the insurance company doesn't get mad at them, maybe. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I know what I did. I did not stroke him because I didn't even think about it until Brian Bickersmith brought it up this morning. But what would you guys do in that situation, other tournament directors?
Oh, not me.
And anybody else wants to answer?
I see, because the only evidence was the photo, right? And you can't use photos.
Yeah, the violation would have had to have been called by his card.
Right, that's my take.
Yeah.
So can you postmortemly courtesy violate your card members for not calling you on it? Is it now their fault?
I don't know if this is like a fact, but maybe if you went and discussed it with the TD at the end of your round, that's the only other, similar to like an OB question.
Right.
Sure.
Or throwing 2 discs off of a tee in a tournament or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Make him play provisional with shoes on.
Yeah.
That would be punishment enough.
Right.
But again, it's only a warning too. So even if he was assessed it, there's no real penalty.
Yeah, as long as you didn't do it again.
I definitely would have said you had to go with your shoes on. Like, sorry, bud, you guys get your shoes wet if you want to make this putt. Because I mean, Kaitlyn, did you think about it at all when you were in that water?
No.
I told myself if I was in the water, but I was closer to the basket, I'm definitely getting in that water because I'm not gonna lose 40 feet when I'm 10 feet from the basket on this. Like,
Nah, I'll take a stroke. The one thing I hate is wet shoes. So
I would have got over it.
and wet socks.
I would have needed that stroke. I did need that stroke. I mean, I did
need that stroke.
I did birdie it, but if I needed that stroke, I definitely would have got in there because I would have thought that you could take your shoes off. But now that I know the pro strat is just don't do it twice.
Well, I mean, okay, if you're on the card with them, would you have a problem with it? Anybody?
I wouldn't have called it. I wouldn't have called it. I wouldn't have seconded it personally.
I've been on a card with a player that did this, and I filmed it not knowing it was a violation. And they drained the putt in like knee-deep snake-infested water.
Wow.
It was great. And then we all realized after the round, and we were like, don't talk about it, even though we like already posted it on Facebook.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely would have argued it. Like, I don't know, man. I really don't think you should take your shoes off.
Yeah. I think we all know the rule now, so we would just say, hey, don't do that. You know?
I'm going to show my nerdiness for a second, quick. So in Magic the Gathering,
Yes.
in competitive tournaments, if you break the rules on accident, there's one punishment. If you break the rules on purpose, if a tournament official determines that you did this on purpose, then you get a much harsher penalty.
You get banished to the Shadow Realm?
Yeah, pretty much.
So is there like a mechanism for determining
I like that.
determining intent?
It's very subjective and has led to some very weird things.
I bet those guys have a lot of fake friends.
Well, a lot of the times it comes down to things like marked cards.
Okay, all right.
Like if you can determine that these look intentionally marked, or if someone keeps forgetting a detrimental rule. The first time it might go by, but if you get marked for it, 3 times in one tournament, then it starts looking a little bit suspicious.
Okay.
But yeah, it's still very subjective and has led to some drama in that community for sure. I assume there isn't a change for intent in PDGA, but it still feels a little bit weird. Like if I know that I can't take off my socks and shoes and then I do it, like that feels like it should be worse somehow. I don't know.
I guess what's the unsportsmanlike conduct or whatever. I don't know if there's anything different about that. If there even is a rule for unsportsmanlike conduct, or unless that's just like a 15-yard penalty in football.
I'm not sure, and maybe I should brush up on the PDGA rules a little bit more.
Yeah, every time I do anything, I feel like I need to do that. There's always just like another little nook or cranny somewhere where you're like, oh, and there's something I've never even considered a possibility of, and here it is. But yeah,
I would probably let them know that it's technically against the rules, but I don't care because I don't want you playing the rest of the round with wet feet.
I mean, people can't take their shoes off fast enough for everyone. If someone on the card knows the rule, like you're going to be able to stop them before they throw the putt, basically.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on who's on your card.
And I wonder if there's a different penalty for like you tell him or whoever's on your card, like you can't do that, and then they do it anyway. Like, is that different?
Yeah,
I think it is.
It feels like it should be.
That surpasses a courtesy violation at that point.
It feels like intentionally missing a Mando or something like that.
Now, mind you, I just realized that most of you guys all play for money, so it's a different thing when you're playing for money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you willfully do it and somebody's upset, they could argue it's cheating.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jaimen, how else did the tournament go?
It went really, really well. I don't know. I think it's because I deal with middle schoolers all the time. It always blows my mind when everybody gets where they need to go on time. And it's just like everybody just does everything that they need to do. Anytime I run a tournament, even when I used like the first few team challenge matches, I was always just like terrified of what did I miss and what did I forget to tell people? And is there some like huge giant part of this that I'm just completely missing? And I think that's just, the jitters that everybody faces when they're doing these kind of things. But everything went well. Everything went super well. We had 83 people. The only thing that went wrong was that one player overslept. So I had to shuffle a couple cards earlier in the morning, but everybody was there on time. So that was easy enough. Of course, the only card that somebody didn't show up on was a threesome. So I had to move one person. That person was super, super happy to do it. No problem at all. And no, the tournament went great. There was a lot of really great things happening throughout the day. Personal accomplishments. I saw, just looking through all the results, a lot of people shot above their rating, which is always great to see. I think the most remarkable one, I'm going to brag about it because it is a Glens Falls person. Amanda Dunbar, I'm pulling it up right now, came out and she shot on the reds 2 under, which is I think it was an 871 rated round.
That's what I'm looking at, yeah.
Yeah, which is 121 points above her rating, which, as far as I can tell, is the highest jump I've ever seen anybody do in a rating like that. 120 points is really impressive and big accomplishment for her. She also said it was her first time ever shooting under par, and doing it in a tournament is just super, super cool. So that was very cool to see.
Is that a regular course for her?
Not particularly. I think it's about 40 minutes away for her.
Okay.
She kind of lives in the same area that I do. Besides that, seeing a lot of Glens Falls people win. Logan Aikens taking down the win in MA3. I was happy about. I just found out he's a Glens Falls person, but now that I know that, I'm rooting for him a little harder.
Sounds like bias to me. I don't know.
And then there's a couple people in here, a lot of the locals I'm seeing, those names: John Furman, Lou Davis, Jake Fruchter, Joe Karen. A lot of those people come out all the time to leagues and stuff and play and have helped with the course. The Fruchters and the Cartrettes are constant helpers, and the Furmans. So it's cool seeing so many people do well, but really having that many people come out and support the course. And we were able to raise a really good chunk of money that's going to help keep that course growing and getting better with the signage and the tee pads. So I was really happy with it. I think everybody had fun. I had a lot of fun. It was colder than I expected it to be, but it didn't rain until basically everybody was off the course. So that was kind of a specter that everybody was watching and hoping it didn't open up on us, and we were able to get away almost completely dry. The other really cool thing that I saw out there came from Mr. Tattletale himself, Brian Bickersmith. So for people who don't know CTK, hole 1 is situated kind of in between hole 9 and 10. So as the tournament director, I see everybody go out in hole 1, and the next time I see them is after the front 9. So you kind of see in people's body language how they're doing, and pulling up the scores now. But when the MP40 card went through, Jason Malloy was tied for the lead right then with Brian Bickersmith and Temp Krieger, and Jay Gorsage was not far behind either. So it was a pretty close race. And the next time I looked at their scorecard, Brian was 4 under par and like 7 strokes ahead of everybody else in his division. And he did that by birdieing 10 through 15. So the first 6 holes in the woods, which is absolutely crazy. 11 alone.
Yeah. That's really impressive.
Yeah. 11 is an incredible birdie to get on its own, and then getting the surrounding 5 is absolutely crazy. So that was a really, really cool thing to see. And I'm sure for Brian, it was definitely a cool thing to do. And that was definitely kind of the talk at Tournament Central as a lot of the pros were coming and just like looking at that, really impressed. There were a couple more birdies on 11, which is always nice. One came from Travis Connolly, and then the other one came from Jack Fruchter, who is another one of the locals. I want to say Jack is a junior. He can't be more than 20. So I had a couple of juniors playing in MPO, which was awesome to see. A couple local juniors, but everything went smooth. Everybody did what they needed to do. It looks like there was a lot of really great competition and everybody had fun. And yeah, the event report is submitted, and I am happy to have another tournament done, and one that went as smoothly as that is always a huge, huge bonus.
I do have to point out Ryan Travis 148343 came in second place in MA2 because I did kind of pick on him last week. So if you had your choice, Jaimen, get to a point where you know what you're doing enough that you can play, or bring a tournament up higher to a better level. What point are you at right now?
It depends a lot on like the day. With CTK, the property, they're buying into the disc golf course a lot more. They're seeing a lot more benefits from it. They're excited to see so many new people coming out and checking out the course. In the past 2 weekends, there's been 150 people playing the course. And, they really like it when people come out and use the property and enjoy it. It's just such a beautiful place to be that it really advertises itself. So when you bring some people there, they always leave with a great impression. So they're more and more willing to help turn that into a bigger thing. They're seeing these, New York Team Challenge and a Flex C tier having 150 people between the two are still relatively small events for what CTK is capable of, with the lodging that's there, the property that's there. They could really have a pretty big event that sells the place out for the weekend for lunch and dinner and all the hotel rooms and all the extra rooms that they have. There's some camping spots that I found recently. So the more I'm looking at it, the more I want to keep pushing events to be bigger and bigger there, with an eventual goal and a very far off goal of having a second course on the property, whether permanent or temporary, would allow for a bigger event than it's capable of right now. But I also want somebody to run an event there that I can freaking play in. That would be awesome.
Kaitlyn, you played MPO?
I did. I played MPO and I did not come in last, so that's always a goal I have when I play MPO.
How'd you feel you played overall, though?
I was very pleased. I'm extremely happy I got out on Saturday and played a practice round because it was equally as windy and the same wind direction as Sunday. So during my practice round, I played absolutely horrible on the front nine. So I felt like I made some improvements for Sunday's round on the front nine and then kind of played the back nine averagely. So it turned into a pretty good round for me.
25 points above your rating, it looks like.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very respectable.
Getting closer to 900.
Oh, so close. Cross my fingers the next few months. I have a lot of really good rounds dropping out coming the May update, so I got to really shoot pretty good the next few tournaments, and then the following month I think I have some wiggle room. So if I keep it up the way I started the year, I think I should hit 900 soon.
Yeah.
Matter of
awesome.
time.
Aren't you going the hard way, though? You play a lot of tournaments, not
Yeah.
local. You know what I mean? I don't think that's indicative.
I know, and I have a horrible thing where I just show up and I don't get to practice. So, but it's all right. I think it could go either way. It's like you have no expectations, or sometimes locally you have too many expectations. So,
Mike Schwartz showed me this Google extension that I downloaded, and you can put in rounds and it'll tell you what your rating is. It's pretty cool.
whoa.
I just did it myself because I was like, oh, I plug her into my spreadsheet. I'm like, wait, I downloaded the stupid plugin to see if I could do it. Does it easier.
It shows you which ones are double weighted, which ones will be dropped. It's a really impressive extension. And there's another one that gives you more stats on people from events too. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. You want to send that link somewhere?
If I knew how, I could try. All right, Corey's got it. I just found it.
Thank you, Corey.
It's not as fun as creating a spreadsheet to try to guess at doing what it does.
No.
But
I know the joy of creating spreadsheets, Corey.
I need to find someone to use that has less rounds than mine or Kaitlyn's.
Yeah.
Something that could show a
Totally
bigger
different.
disparity potentially. And I want to compare it to what the actually Alex Potts is probably a great.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got a handful this year, but yeah, not a lot of rounds overall. So you're more than welcome.
Corey, did you talk about your round?
No, not yet.
You want to talk about your round?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. So I was blessed to spend the company of Kaitlyn Clay in our round. I kind of felt like I had to play probably slightly above average to cash, but totally doable. I have always kind of thought that CTK, for some reason, same thing as FDR, certain holes are just too long for me to score on. Because I only play the course once a year, or whatever the Whipple City is going on that year. I might play it 4 times, 2 practice rounds and 2 tournament rounds. But I knew what I did not want to do on certain holes. I did not want to bogey the big, long downhill par 3, hole 4 for, shanking it left OB. I still bogeyed it, but I didn't go OB on. But before hole 8 and 9, I was feeling okay. And then I kind of blew up on hole 8 and 9, taking a bogey and then a double bogey. Hole 11, I never really do too well on, so I got out of there with a bogey, but I got a couple other birdies in the back 9. And I feel like I was putting pretty well, which feels good because I feel like lately my putting hasn't felt as great with deep circle 1 putts. But then it all comes down to basically hole 18, and I should have paid attention to scores more, or I don't know when the last time I looked, but hole 18, I throw a pretty okay drive. I might have pushed the corner just a little bit too deep, so I was kind of cut off on the next shot to the basket, which I proceeded to kind of shank the approach on a grip lock, but was blessed to still somehow get to the trees and have probably a 20-ish footer. That's probably 20, 25 footer obstructed. I had a straddle putt, and I should have took just 5 more seconds and really focus on making a putt, because I don't know if I caged it or if I splashed out, but that was literally the putt that I needed to make last cash. And I freaking doinked it like an idiot. to have like a basically average round. Like it was rated 950, but I kind of felt like I wasn't playing that great, so I was surprised that it was as good as it was. And then to find out that I tied Randy Bemis, so I didn't know if I felt good or bad about that part. I don't know how Randy feels about tying me, but
No, you should feel good about tying me.
should I though?
don't
Because you
feel-
didn't even warm up. You were taking pictures of people putting.
I was running around like a goofball with my camera until like the 2-minute warning, basically. So I don't know. I felt like I had a really good round going, and then I had literally 2 15-foot putts that were the difference between like happy and sad, which it kind of sums up my entire game, anyways. But I think I unlocked a new power. I missed like a 15-footer on hole 16, and I've never folded a putter in half, but I really, really thought about it. I really don't get that mad. I usually just get sad during rounds, which is not good like for sports. Like being sad is not helpful. So I got real mad and my putter almost got folded. And I went on to 17, like super, super mad. And I was just like, I'm just going to birdie out. And I took absolute tap-in birdies on 17 and 18 to finish my round just to tie Corey.
Those are some difficult birdies too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Especially when you're mad.
Yeah, 18 was like real special. Like 17 was just like I chucked a zone like forehand and it was fine. But like 18, I actually played it smart. Like I went putter off the tee so I could go fairway like flex through the gap to the pin, and that felt real good. So I'm happy with my round. If I get through a round and the only problem was 15-foot putts, I know I still just have that to work on.
Anything else about the CTK fundraiser?
Oh man, I had the total written down somewhere how much we raised, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $800.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
That alone covers the tee signs for the entire course. So that's really, really great. I'm going to be doing another one of those in July. And I'm also going to be opening up tee sponsorships. So in addition to having hole sponsorships, there will be a cheaper tee sponsorship option for each individual hole. And I'm hoping that that will be able to lead to some extra funds to get that whole thing taken care of this year, because it would be really nice. Looking through a lot of the UDisc reviews, it's a lot of people kind of frustrated that they can't figure their way around the red tees. I mean, that's totally my fault. And that's something that I really need to fix, because I think the red tees are a lot of fun. And I think people would really enjoy them if they knew where the hell they were.
Yeah, let me know when that opens up.
Yeah, for sure. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it kind of like what Kate did for the Fun in the Sun, is just an option on the thing that you can sign up for, like general admission sponsorship.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah, I got it. I need to take a break for a week or two before I get really rolling on that. I've still got the Women's Global event going. I'm still deep in the planning of New York State Championships, and I'm chaperoning a field trip to Virginia Beach for 4 days this week. Yeah.
You've heard me say this to you before, right, Jim? But I really don't think you do enough.
Yeah, I'm kind of an idiot. Every year, I'm sure, Jason, you probably hear me say this more than basically anybody, where I'm just like, you know what, I need to say no to a couple of things this year, or I really wish I didn't do this all the time. Like as soon as I say that, like the first thing that comes into my brain is like, what if I did another tournament? What the hell?
I'm going to volunteer my way out of this.
Speaking of, I'm not sure if you're ready to announce it yet or not, but how's State's planning going?
It's going pretty well.
Yeah.
I'm basically kind of copy and pasting Jason's layout a little bit. 2 rounds on Saturday, tee times on Sunday. Right now, I'm still waiting to hear back from Moreau to make sure that they can do it there, but it's looking like it's going to be CTK and Moreau on Saturday and then CTK on Sunday. Some of the things that I'm looking at is where to do the players' dinner. We've got Common Roots in South Glens Falls, which is like 3 miles away from Moreau, and a phenomenal brewery, but then CTK is also CTK.
Right.
So just kind of like going through some of those things, trying to find ways to make the players pack as awesome as I can.
Sure.
Kristen McDonald mentioned that in a tournament recently, she got waterproof socks as a players pack thing. I was like, that is freaking genius.
Right. Yeah.
That would have saved Evan.
Yeah. Sorry, Evan, if only. But yeah, no. So I'm just trying to find ways to make it better, get the community, the whole state more into it, those kind of things.
Is that still like mid-September, Jaimen?
Yes.
September is so difficult to do anything.
Yeah, it's basically impossible. But that's been the tradition of it, so I'm trying to keep that going. One of the things that I always want to see happen with states is just have it more of a uniform thing, so it's more easy to plan for the tournament directors, but also the players who want to go all over the state and are willing to do that. If it changes all the time, it's going to make it really hard to plan a year in advance.
Right.
Time for a quiz. Dubs or trips?
Dubs.
Sure.
All right, Kaitlyn, who's your partner?
Oh boy. Let's go, Randy.
You fool.
I'm also horrible, so we could be horrible together.
Oh, great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Keep my streak going.
All right, Jason, who you want?
Jaimen was making up some new words, so I'm gonna go with Alex.
Did you say Alex?
Yeah.
We won last time, right? Something like that.
Let me guess, Jalix?
Let's do this, Corey. I am so tired.
Oh, we're the Cayman. We're the Cayman, the best overstable mid-range approach disc that NMA makes.
The best overstable mid-range disc released in all of 2021.
From the person who throws a Toro.
That's because they didn't have the Halo Cayman, and then I got a Gator because they still didn't have the Halo Cayman, and then they came out with the Halo Cayman, so I got Halo Cayman, but I haven't actually even thrown it yet.
So Kaitlyn and Randy, Jalix, and
Cayman?
Cayman.
Cayman?
Cayman, like the alligator-looking thing.
Yeah. I got 2 categories, Kaitlyn and Randy. What category would you like, 1 or 2?
2.
Do you know the rules of disc or no disc, Kaitlyn?
I think I know enough.
Okay. I always wonder if I should reiterate them, but I get bored of that, so I never do. What category did you say? I'm sorry?
2.
All right. Question 1, category 2. The National Tourist Board proudly hypes Slovenia as the only country in the world with what word in its name? The National Tourist Board proudly hypes Slovenia as the only country in the world with what word in its name?
Love.
Ooh, nice. I was just writing it down because my brain doesn't work. I like it.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Is the love a disc?
I thought it was oven.
I would not have gotten that right at all.
I mean, that's what I would have guessed.
I was thinking,
but I didn't know.
about it way too hard. Like, what language do they even speak in Slovenia? I don't know.
I don't know, Randy. That does not sound like a disc to me.
You don't think so? I
No.
thought it was a good one.
Okay, we'll go.
It's
Okay, we'll go
short.
this.
Let's go with it, and then
Yeah.
I'll be wrong. It's fine.
Yeah.
Jester Disc Golf, January 9th, 2023. All right. Jalix, 1 or 2?
Category 1?
Yeah, let's go 1.
Sounds good.
All right. Question 1, category 1. The name of what grain sounds like what you do with wheat to get flour? The name of what grain sounds like what you do with wheat to get flour?
So you grind wheat to get flour, right?
Yeah, grind's not a wheat, right?
I'm pretty sure grind is not a wheat. I think it's supposed to be, similar to grind.
All right, so what kind of wheat? You have like rye.
It could be rye, grind.
I think other. So like, can you say the question again, Pat?
The name of what grain sounds like what you do with wheat to get flour?
When you brew beer, there's like I think it's called like mash or something too.
Yeah, I think you put the wheat with water and then it boils and then you get mash. And
That's not a type of grain.
No, I'm thinking like spelt. I don't like that's a.
This is the first question. Damn.
I'm blanking on the question again. Can I hear it just one more time?
The name of what grain sounds like what you do with wheat to get flour?
I think rye is as good as we're gonna get.
Oh my god. It doesn't seem like okay. I can't think of any other grains right now.
Yeah.
Going with rye?
Yep.
What do you think, Cayman?
I got it.
Oh, I had it too.
It's millet. You millet it.
Oh, see, okay, I was
Nice.
thinking mill, but I'm like, that's a dumb answer. I hope James got something better.
All right. I think it's millet.
Is the millet a disc?
That sounds like a dumb disc name. Now, if it was the
All right.
mullet, I mean, I want to say no, Jamin, just because it sounds ridiculous. But I also don't know what the millet
That
is.
sounds good. Let's say no.
No, it is, Pat. No, it is not.
Clash Discs, April 3rd, 2024.
Clash. I knew it would be some meme company.
Millet? It's the cinnamon
That's
and the
such a
millet?
bad-
All right.
All right. So what category, you guys? That was a steal. You got 1 point. You got 1 or 2.
I don't think I'm going to like either of them, but what are you feeling, Jamin?
Let's go with the millet category, whichever number that was.
Number 1.
Category 1, question 2. Traditional white beer is brewed with what grain in addition to barley? Traditional white beer is brewed with what grain in addition to barley?
White beer? Is that rice?
Oh, I thought he meant like an Old Mill or like a Bush Light or like that's like a white trash beer. Sorry. What did you say the answer was?
I was going to say rice, like, because I think a lot of the really like light pilsners and stuff have rice in them. And Jason's probably puking in his mouth right now as I try to talk about beer.
Yeah, rice.
What do you think, Kate and Randy?
It wasn't
Kate and
rice.
Randy?
Oh.
I think
Wasn't rice.
I think I know it, but can you say it one more time?
Traditional white beer is brewed with what grain in addition to barley?
I think it's just wheat.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
my thought.
Yeah, like a wit beer is wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the wheat a disc?
Now that millet was one, like
know.
everything's out the window. It's like anything. It's better than millet, and millet's a disc.
Okay,
That's all I got. I
All
don't
right.
know.
sure. Let's go for it.
That's a bad justification. Yeah, let's go with it. Why
Yeah.
not?
I'm sorry, no.
Ah,
All right, but it is your category.
Oh,
1 or
yeah.
2.
We gotta
Should we
stick with
stick
two.
with
Yeah, we
should
gotta
we stick with the
two.
grains? Yeah.
Oh, grains
What-
is 1.
Oh, is grains one?
Yeah,
Whatever
grains
the
is
grains are.
Is that the one you want to go with? Category 1?
Yeah,
All right,
one.
question 3. Category 1. Oddly, what English word for corn that's from Spanish and Arawak is spelled like the Latvian word for bread? Oddly, what English word for corn that's from Spanish and Arawak is spelled like the Latvian word for bread?
Maize, right?
That's the only thought I had in my head.
Yeah, I want to go with maize. Not that I could spell it if I had to. It's like Maize, but is that right? No, he can't tell me if that's right yet. Let's go with maize.
Let's go with maize.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the maize a disc spelled exactly how you said? As long as you only said one E, right? You didn't say two?
Yes.
Is the maize a disc?
I feel like it's a double purpose one if it was like Maze, but spelled as Maize. I don't know.
Let's do it.
We go yes. We double down on wheat. We just go yes. All right, let's go yes.
All wheat all day.
You made me look up Maze. No, I'm sorry, it is not.
Ah.
I didn't even think of that, so I'm glad you pointed it out. All right, Jalix, category 1 or 2?
What do you think, Alex?
I think we want to go away from the grains.
Yeah, let's figure out what the other category is.
All right.
Category 2.
Question 2, category 2. In The Wizard of Oz, what word answers the question posed by the lion, what makes a king out of a slave? In The Wizard of Oz, what word answers the question posed by the lion, what makes a king out of a slave?
The lion needed courage. I don't know the specific answer, but it kind of goes along with the love. My thought is courage.
Yeah, I can't think of anything for this one, so let's go courage.
Is the courage a disc?
I like it more than the love as a name for a disc. Yeah, my thought is yes.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'm sorry, no.
Damn. All right, we're on the board at least.
Struggling.
That was your regular question, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Cayman, 1 or 2?
Let's get away from the grains.
I don't know the grain answers, but I might not know the other one's questions. So, sure, yeah, let's go with number 2.
The one that you don't know about the questions?
Yeah.
All right, question 3, category 2. What was all that was left after Pandora opened her box, releasing all the evils into the world? What was all that was left after Pandora opened her box, releasing all the evils into the world?
Jaimen?
Yeah, I don't know freaking clue. All right, so let's see. The answers so far have been love and courage, right?
Mm-hmm. But I really don't know anything about Pandora's box other than you don't want to open it, or you have then opened Pandora's box, and that's not good.
Yeah. What was that? Nothing? Is empty an answer? Nothing?
I mean, I was kind of thinking emptiness, but that is definitely not going to be a disc.
Unlimited music listening.
Yeah, ad-free listening, cheap subscription plans. All right, Pat, hit us with it one more time.
What was all that was left after Pandora opened her box, releasing all the evils into the world?
Death?
I don't know. I want to say honor just because it feels like it's got to be a good thing. Honor, goodness. Goodness is a terrible name for a disc. I feel like honor might be a disc.
That's how it would end, though. Is like that's after she released all the evil into the world, all that was left was honor.
I don't know. Goodness. Yeah, goodwill.
Oh, this is gonna suck. Yeah. I'll say something, Jaimen.
Honor.
Honor.
What do you think, Cayman?
Honor.
Oh,
Get the question away from us.
Give another answer.
Don't ask us again.
Kaitlyn and Randy, I'm sorry.
I know the answer, but Jaimen, the honor is a disc because I throw it.
I know.
The answer is hope, I believe.
Which is also a disc. Yeah, go with it.
Yeah, hope.
Is the hope a disc?
Yeah, it's a disc.
I knew it wasn't getting back to me.
Nice. Yeah, it's a disc.
Latitude 64, October 25th, 2021.
Oof. Randy and Kate running away with it.
We're halfway through.
It's early.
I got you guys at 6, everybody else at 1, and
It's not early.
1 or 2.
Oh, we gotta stick with number 1, Randy. Now.
I think you have the categories flipped. But so do you want to go
the
with
wheat?
the
No, I want
to go with the
want
wheat?
the grain.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's ride the wheat train.
Ride the grain
The amber
train.
waves.
Oh, thank you.
Question 4, category 1. Introduced in 1973, what is the name of the Jolly Green Giant's young apprentice? Introduced in 1973, what is the name of the Jolly Green Giant's young apprentice?
Is it
All I
it's
could do is
candy corn
picture.
something? I don't know. Oh, wait, no, candy corn is not a grain. That's a candy. Oh no. What other? We got rye probably left. We got rice left.
I feel like this was a question I just had in an actual trivia game.
You've been training for this?
Her and Kat go out training.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah, what the heck? I don't know.
Do we just guess a grain? Do we just say corn? Because I know that they have canned corn in their lineup.
Yeah.
Corn?
Let's go with it.
Where you got, Jalix?
I think they're on the right track, but I think it's got to be a name, which makes me think Cornelius.
You don't think Pat would be like, can you be more
You just
specific?
blew my mind.
I mean,
Oh, Jason's
maybe
sharp today.
I don't know.
Colonel
I mean,
Cornelius.
you got the
Colonel.
Jolly Green Giant. I don't know if the Jolly Green Giant has a name other than Jolly Green Giant, but I feel like it's got to be some sort of name. And he's yellow.
The giant is, or his...
No, the apprentice is yellow.
Wait, can you say the question again, Pat?
Introduced in 1973, what is the name of the Jolly Green Giant's young apprentice?
Oh, young apprentice, not yellow apprentice.
Had me convinced.
Yeah.
So, what other grains are there?
There's barley. We said rye already. Corn is a grain.
Oats.
Oats.
Yeah, corn would have been a good one if they had already picked that.
I'm still feeling like Cornelius unless we just want to take a guess.
I don't feel strongly about any other one, so let's go Cornelius.
All right, sounds good.
What you got, Cayman?
Dang it.
This is a vegetable question. I wasn't even thinking about it.
I was going to say barley, but I don't know why it was.
Introduced in 1973, what is the name of the Jolly Green Giant's young apprentice?
Sounds like barley.
Yeah, I want to go with barley. House money.
Barley?
Yeah.
We're looking for Sprout.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
quality.
That's cute. That's cute.
All right, Jalix, I believe it's your guys' go.
Yeah, let's not do the grains,
So 2.
Yeah, two.
please.
Question 4, category 2. In the Name of Love is the subtitle of what U2 song about Martin Luther King? In the Name of Love is the subtitle of what U2 song about Martin Luther King Jr.?
Is that a U2 song? Is it Stop?
Does that fit the theme, though?
Not really. I don't know if that's a U2 song.
I don't think so, but
No,
I'm not a big U2
yeah,
guy.
I don't think so either.
I'm feeling it's going to be some attribute to Martin Luther King, but we already said courage. What other would tie in with In the Name? What was it? In the Name of Love was the subtitle?
In the Name of Love is the subtitle. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Alex. I'm sorry for picking you.
Hey, I don't know any of these either, so it's like doubles. I missed the putt too.
Yeah, I'm just pretty tired though. I feel like there's a strong word associated with Martin Luther King that I can't think of.
Dream.
Well, he's like passive nonviolence or like resistance, but
Yeah.
something in the name of love though.
I mean, it could be resist.
We have love, courage, hope.
Yeah. Resist sounds okay.
Final answer?
I got nothing else.
Yeah, sorry, man. I got nothing.
No worries.
Cayman?
Can we hear the question again?
In the Name of Love is the subtitle of what U2 song about Martin Luther King Jr.?
All I can hear is a stupid voice singing, "In the name of love." Right, that's how it goes.
Yeah,
Is that the right song? Or am I thinking of the completely wrong song?
One heart in the name of love. Is that the words? Am I making those up?
I don't know that much. That's the problem I've been having with the question. Is
Want to go with heart? One heart?
it's either that or dream.
Dream? I like dream.
I mean, who else makes a song about MLK and like doesn't have the word dream in it, right?
Yeah. Is it one mind? I don't know. I'm good with dream. I'm good with anything.
Dream it is.
Dream? What do you got, Kaitlyn and Randy?
Oh gosh.
Damn it.
You have so many chances.
20 seconds.
They just said heart, which sounded nice. Strength sounds good. I don't know if either of those are discs.
Doesn't have to be a disc.
It doesn't, I know, but it helps.
I have
Do you have
no
any strong
thoughts.
feelings?
I have no strong feeling.
I like heart. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
Heart?
Yeah.
We're looking for pride.
Mm.
Pride. Name of Love.
Remember when Apple trolled all of its users and forced the YouTube album on their phones?
Mm-hmm.
Great time to be an Android user.
Cayman, 1 or 2?
Do we want to go back to the grain questions?
I've been useless this entire time. So if yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Question 5?
Yep.
When you do what to a field, you are adding to it, but when you do it to a watermelon, you're taking away. When you do what to a field, you're adding to it, but when you do it to a watermelon, you are taking away.
What do you do to a watermelon? Core? No.
Oh, seed. Like if you seed a watermelon, you're taking the seeds out, and if you seed a field, you're planting it.
I do like the answer, but I for the trivia, but I feel like it should be de-seed for the watermelon.
I know. That was my thought too.
No, but I like seed. Yeah.
You guys good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Is the seed a disc?
Thankful. That's kind of a good disc name.
I'm just happy to be in the position to have to say yes or no.
Yeah. I'm happy to hear our question not asked to anybody else.
Yeah, I like it as a disc.
Yeah, I like it.
Sacred Disc, March 18th, 2024.
Thanks, Nico.
Me and Jaimen is out here hitting dingers. Well, Jaimen's hitting dingers.
All right, final round, Kaitlyn and Randy. 1 or 2.
Do we close out the seed category?
Sure.
All right, category 1.
Question 6. Germany's purity law of 1516 states that German beer must contain only water, hops, and what germinated grain? Germany's purity law of 1516 states that German beer must contain only water, hops, and what germinated grain?
What's in German beer?
Oh, no, just barley? Is that? We haven't said barley yet.
No.
I think that's it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is the barley a disc?
Barley.
That sounds right up Clash's
Yeah, that's what I was
naming
thinking.
structure. I don't know
Clash
if we've said
disc.
no yet, so let's just go with it. Let's go yes, Pat.
Yeah.
Clash Discs, April 3rd, 2024.
Thank you, Clash.
Jalix.
Way to lock up the win.
Hell yeah.
Jalix, question 5, category 2. Originally relating to a story of suffering, what word now more commonly refers to strong emotion of any kind? Originally relating to a story of suffering, what word now more commonly refers to a strong emotion of any kind?
The passion?
Yeah, I like passion a lot.
It's a disc too, right?
Yep.
You guys agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is the passion a disc?
Yeah.
Yep. Paige Pierce passion.
Discraft, July 19th, 2021. And final question came in. According to Shakespeare, what quality from the Latin for price paid is not strained, it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven? According to Shakespeare, what quality from the Latin for price paid is not strained, it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven? Corey said he was in the history last week, so.
I can't imagine. I can't believe we got this question after freaking barley and passion were the answers.
Can I hear the question again? I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it.
All right, so it's not just me. I feel better.
According to Shakespeare, what quality from the Latin for price paid is not strained, it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven? What quality is not strained, it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven?
Could you read it like Sir Patrick Stewart? He's really good at Shakespeare. No.
The Latin word is price paid or the whole sentence?
From the Latin for price paid, the word.
So I want to say manna, Corey. Manna from heaven.
You think the answer is mana?
Yeah. And I think that's the answer. That's the only thing that I can think of at all.
Are we playing Final Fantasy? Are we trying to re-up on our magic abilities? This fits the category, you think?
Manna from heaven. I don't know. I just know that a lot of Shakespeare terms, like a lot of things that Shakespeare coined, are terms that we still use today. So that's kind of why I'm going with manna from heaven, because it's something that is coming to my brain at all.
You talked me into it. Mana.
What do you think, Kaitlyn, Randy?
Such a good reason.
Yeah, it really was. I liked it.
So the Latin for price paid.
Yeah, that's what I was focusing on.
You got any Lat 64 names that line up with this?
No.
How about honor? Bring it back.
That sounds good. Fits the category.
Sure, let's do it.
Jalix for second
All right.
place.
I've got a crackpot theory here.
Okay.
So Latin for buyer beware is caveat emptor. So emptor being buyer. So empathy?
Okay, because these are all like emotions, right?
Yeah,
You guys good with that?
I'm happy with that.
I like it. Let's go with it.
We were looking for mercy. Mercy.
I thought Alex had that.
Lat
So,
64.
Yeah, me too. That was good.
1964, May 20th, 2012.
oh, and it was Latitude.
Yeah.
Woof. Don't tell my sponsor.
Thank you, Alex, Corey, Randy, Jason, Jaimen, and thanks for coming on, Kaitlyn.
Thanks, Pat.
Like that.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, guys. I want to give New York team challenge. I have a lot of questions.
Oh, shit, Kaitlyn. So you're right. No, yeah, we have to. I forgot that.
It's all
That's, like a
coming
big,
together.
that's a big talking point. I was going to say,
My question was, would she be able to come next week and talk about
Yeah,
it more?
I can come next week.
Yeah, if you're able to, then we can do a little more in-depth on New York, because I don't want to give it short shrift, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had a couple other things that were not
so
necessary,
this
but
is just the teaser episode.
kind
I
of,
realized
yeah.
about 90% of the way in, I'm like, I am talking a lot this episode, and we have a guest, and I should not be talking.
You had a
this
lot to
much.
say, Alex. Usually it's me that does that, so it's nice to see it from the other side.
I said that thing about Jason just to wake him up.
I realized Jason hadn't talked once, and I was like, is he here?
I'm getting sleepy, but thanks
Oh.
for waking me up.